Good evening. And today we are very excited to be here to show you metaphor. And in this presentation, we will tell you more about metaphor, and we will do a demo about the metaphor lineage. And during the demo, we will showcase how metaphor integrates with OpenLineage. And in the end, we will answer your questions. Okay, so let's first introduce ourselves. This is Ivan.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Well, my name is Ivan. I joined Metaphor since when it was founded, 2021 January, so almost 2 years since now. Working primarily on the UI, also was able to implement the initial stuff in the UI platform. Yeah, I guess we also work with some browser extension for Chrome and for Edge. Yeah, very excited to be with us today. Thanks for you.
Yeah, and I'm Ye. I'm also a founding engineer of Metaphor. I also joined in 2021. Yeah, I'm also compared from So I make contributions to the web app and also founded the tooling. I implemented the column level lineage. It's on top of the lineage graph I've been built for the Metaphor. Okay, so I want to ask you guys, how many have you heard about Metaphor before? That's great. Yeah, anyway, today we're gonna tell you what is Metaphor. So Metaphor is a social platform for data, and it's a modern data catalog boosted by AI and supercharged by people. And Metaphor, it's the all-in-one place for your data-related conversations, where teams collaborate and innovate. You can also capture the institutional knowledge with posts and documents. And also you can easily search, share, and access the data details on Metaphor web app, Slack, Teams integration, and also, as I mentioned, a browser extension. So at a Metaphor, we understand to enable people to have the meaningful conversation about their data. So the first needed to understand, have good understanding about the data. So therefore, the Metaphor has many features to help user make sense of the data. Metaphor help users better understand the data with the comprehensive end-to-end lineage visibility. What does that mean? Later on, during demo, you will know. Yeah, and also recently, we introduced the OpenLineage to a Metaphor when we're trying to integrate with Spark. So why we choose OpenLineage? It's because, first of all, OpenLineage fast becoming the open standards of integration. Yeah, and it also has a very active community. So our developers get tremendous help from the community Slack channel, I think. Yeah, when we are doing the integration. Yeah, and also it has the industrial leading Spark integration. That's what we did. And also we are working on the Airflow integration, which is also coming with OpenLineage. So it will come very soon. Also, it's backed by Solomon, which is the company, so which gave us the big confidence to choose this product. Yeah, so like all in all, like we really love OpenLineage. Okay, so next, I will let my colleague Ivan to take you a deep dive into the lineage on the platform.
Okay, cool. Yeah, probably before we go for the demo itself, about the stage itself and more important. I guess everyone already knows what it's for. But let's go over again. So lineage, it's a reference to what side of the data. It's a process of extracting information from the origin and how data transform when it flows through a regulation pipeline. And often that information is critical to ensure accuracy and compliance with the data, and also often it's required for regulatory purposes. It helps track in data validity and quality while ensuring compliance and governance of the data. But however, the management lineage can be challenging given data volume and variety of different data. So for our integration with OpenLineage, as we previously mentioned, we already have working for Spark jobs, and Airflow is coming soon and might have in the future Flink integration. So everything else is architectural, wide-wise. It's consuming host requests from all the jobs and DAGs into OpenLineage endpoint, and later on we ingest everything into our database. We're using like JavaScript, TypeScript everywhere, and use MongoDB for the database. So let's talk about code, show me some code, and I guess we can go over it and show some nice examples. So the main piece of our ingestions. So eventually what it does is has some authorization headers from event handler and have some tenants, basically a key for immediate port. We do some verification for an body, and the main piece, is a handle event. It's an OpenLineage data processor that actually helps us to inject data into our database. So that's a very simple one. And for example, what I can show is integration with this part. So I can go to my browser and I can show you the page of our app. It's a data set from F3, and it has okay, well, so we have root node, which is center in the middle, and we have one upstream, and it's connected via Spark. So let me increase a little bit. Yeah, so it has one upstream, and it's icon shows that it's connected via Spark, so it's a kind of strong Spark integration. If I enable column level lineage, we can see they also connected to each other. There is 3 columns in each table, each connected to each other. But right now we can go back to Spark job, make some changes, and it's going to work in real life. So right now, this data, I can start from the beginning. So right now we have Spark session, and we use AWS Glue as a meta store. So we set up the Spark job, and we use Spark SQL method to actually execute SQL inside Spark itself. So we create some database from data that we already have. It's a CSV. We populate it, then we create some tables, and we create column level lineage between them. So we create tables and create corresponding connections. So right now, is it what you see in UI? Right now, I'm gonna add one more join table to our Spark job. And I hope it's gonna work, because for today, it also was an AWS outage, so it didn't work properly, but I hope it's gonna work fine. So right now I'm gonna run the job. And eventually, yeah, so what it does, it just create that Spark job on AWS Elastic MapReduce, and it's gonna run it for maybe 4 minutes. Let's check if it's up and running. Okay, cool, it's pending. And since it's pending, I guess I'm gonna talk about more about our Lineage UI implementation and how it works. So still we have like 4 minutes left. I can go to a different page with more comprehensive Lineage. I can go to full screen to show you everything. So that example for Spark, just 2 data sets, is very simple. But in a real world example, Lineage can be huge and very, very complex. So this feature, I guess, is one of my favorites, because kind of bands together a few core concepts. For data management, we use Graphology library. It's basically graph implementation from JavaScript. And we use VisX library from Airbnb. It's a set of low-level SVG components to actually view the UI. But it's only drive entire logic, but everything else is viewed by us using SVG and our design. So this lineage is called showing kind of data flow from left to the right. So that's why it's a direct graph. So you can see each node has some upstream and downstream. Interaction shows how data flows. You can expand any given. Yeah, our session in our dev environment is shorter, so I will keep off. I need to log in again. Yeah, but this is use.
How you know this is an authentic demo.
Yeah, you saw our like cool login page.
Okay, not this one. So I need to go to phone and find my invite price. Great. Go to page. So you can expand lineage further if it has any downstream, for example, and at any given point you can also collapse it. Yeah, you can also collapse it. For the layers of lineage itself, as we showed before, it can be column level lineage, so it can enable for the root node, which we by writes, and connects all column lineage available, which connected to that root node. So you can see immediately it's going to be very busy, and that's why it's crucial to understand how data lineage for particular column lineage works. Yeah, it's not even harder one. There is more complex. Also, you can enable, we talk about transformation. So lineage is about transformation, how data transforms when it's slow the organization pipeline. So you can say enable transformation for this one. And for integration for data sets, right now we have DBT. So you can notice some DBT data sets has on top DBT models. And there is edge icon indicating that DBT model materialized as Snowflake table. And of course, it works both directions. So if you go to DBT itself, the data set going to be shown like a transformation layer for DBT. And last but not least, it's impact analysis. So make sure that data, you don't break anything if you make some changes. There is some indicator for impact analysis. What's the usage for this data set? How many people follow this data set? How many tags it has, or how many unique views that the data set also has. Okay, so let's go maybe to this job and check if it's okay. It's still running. Yeah, I guess again to talk more about OpenLineage integrations. Yeah, so I guess here you also talk about what we already have. It's partnered now, but for integrate expectations, it's coming soon. For DBT, we already have our own flow crawler, and it's open source, so you can go to our webpage to connect us and probably use DBT integrations. Yeah, let's check one more. Cool, it succeeded. So as you can see before, we have only two datasets connected to each other with some column level lineage. I'm gonna open new tab and it refreshes this dataset, and I'm gonna see more stuff. So I just expand. Boom. So we have one more table, and if I enable column level lineage, it's exactly what is specified in Spark job. So these column level lineage is a new, it's a name and phone code. If I go back to Spark job, it's all specified. It's on one more table join, and this piece drive our column level lineage, which was added. So just in real life, it took a couple of minutes, and it's going to be live. Yeah. So where can I go next? Live demo with Emmet, and I also want to invite you to talk about more about Metaphor itself. So yeah.
Yeah, so because lots of you haven't heard about Metaphor before. Yeah, so this is the data set entity page Metaphor, and right now obviously you can say the page is fairly empty. So if a data consumer comes landed on the page, like what he's looking at, he probably has no idea. Right? But as a data producer or who has knowledge about this data, right, we can say like add a description to help people like at least know like what's the data about. And also we have this AI button. We can help the AI can help us or help the data producer to generate the description based on the nature of the data. Yeah, so that description, and you can assign government tags. Yeah, so to make this data set basically all well organized and easier to find. You can also assign contacts. So we have me as a contact and multiple people. So with the contacts, and this the consumers, if they have a problem or concern or question about this data, they know who can answer a question. Who they can basically reach out to. Yeah, so with this, the page right now is already fuller. It can make sense like what the data is about. And also another main feature Metaphor has is for the post. you can say all the posts right now related to this data set is on the right side panel. Yeah, so the main purpose of the post is to capture knowledge about the data set itself. All the posts created on this page is basically anchored to this data set. So when people read the post, they know, okay, this is talking about this data set. Yeah, and you already say, we can like and also comment on the post. So the reason why we have the post is because in Metaphor we believe a lot of like previous generation data catalog missing the social context of data. Most of them basically fundamentally they are just a data engineering centric view of the whole world, right? But for like most of the data consumer, like who make a business decision, make a sense of data, what they need is just a simple indicator of trust. Like, can I trust this data? Is this data accurate? Right? But how they can basically find like who can help? Right? What is the context? Why we have this data here? Right? So we created the post to gather basically data producer and data consumer together on this data. They can basically capture their knowledge, raise concern, comments, or even approve, right? And find help on this. So basically in general, both parties get together, like work, collectively on data. And we truly believe this tool will make data work for people.
Great. Yeah, so yeah, that was the demo. So if you have any questions, yeah, we'll be happy to answer.
I have a question about the transformations page.
Yeah.
Tell us how you gather that information and how you make sense of it. Like, what I would say is like you connect the jobs with tables, right? And
It's a for Spark, right? For DBT, we have our own connector.
Oh, okay, it doesn't work with OpenLineage.
Yeah.
Do we have an idea to use it OpenLineage, or they want to like in advance with?
I guess like we spoke before, like before this demo, also talk about like why we didn't use DBT. Probably we like way back in the beginning, we integrated with DBT and Git ourselves. And also, as I know, probably DBT integration for OpenLineage, as I know they have some wrappers around DBT. Which is kind of not for DBT implementation. So we want to get like everything working yet. So probably we're gonna use like our own connectors.
We have the DBT integration before you took this over.
Right, but could you like use Spark integration, for example, to generate this page, or is there like some special data that you can get using OpenLineage integration, regardless how it's implemented right now?
Yeah, for Spark, it's only for demo purpose. We have this one, so it's not even like in production one.
Okay.
So created like before demo. Yeah, want to do it like Airflow. When you have enough time. So yeah, it's not like in real life for Spark, was for demo purposes, but probably for next meetup, yeah, for sure we can show both.
Right.
Yeah. Any other questions? Cool. Then yeah, thank you so much for your attention today. So here is you can find more information about Metaphor. And you also can get free phrase flag. It's on the table. It's stickers. Yeah, thank you for hosting us today.